You know they're not real, right? Even if you believe that they are, they're not.
I know. I just feel very lonely.
I'm gonna increase your medication.
And I suggest you start a hobby. Don't you like building things?
Good. Let's start with that and see how we progress throughout the week.
Really? Oh, that's so awesome. No, I like them too. What's your favorite flavor of Jawbreaker? Oh, that's neat. Yeah, no, I like the strawberry ones more. What do you mean? I thought there are strawberry ones. Whatever.
Hey, you gotta get out of the break room. Patients need you. Let's go.
I see the medications have been helping. Have you made any new friends?
Yeah. Yes, I have. His name is Plank. And he likes Jawbreakers. Do you like Jawbreakers? He also likes nature. He's a nature guy. What's that, buddy? I don't know. What do you think? Do you agree with him?
So how long have you guys been friends?
Oh, he's been here all along. Yeah. You just didn't listen. He's been here all this time.
That's all the time we have today. Same time next week?
Yeah. Same time. I told you, Plank. I found a spot that you like. Oh, by the way, look. I got your favorite, Jawbreakers. Here. Thank you for being my best friend, Plank. I love you. The early 2000s, they were undoubtedly the greatest time for the entertainment industry. New tech was on the rise as the millennium year was approaching. Comic book movies like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins were on the rise. Not only that, but this was when Star Wars was at its all-time peak with the release of Revenge of the Sith. We were not only given fantastic films, but even on the small screen we had shows like the Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Batman Beyond, SpongeBob, and of course, the legendary Dragon Ball Z. But aside from all the greatness that I just mentioned, there's always been one show that I would label as comedic genius. That being Eddn Eddy, which was created by Danny Antonucci. I really hope I pronounced his name correctly. Now before we go into the game, let's talk about the show for a second. The first episode aired in January 4th, 1999, and it ended in November 8th of 2009, with a total of 130 episodes, 4 specials, and a movie. I believe Double D also says that somewhere around the ending of the show.
And it only took 130 episodes, 4 specials, and a movie, Eddie.
And what can I say about the show that really hasn't been said already? With its golden slapstick comedy, the amazing 1940-30 soundtrack that it has, kind of like a jazzy feel to it, the fluid animation, and of course, the thing that makes it stand out more than anything out there and what we all like think about, and what I feel like should win an award, and if it didn't win this type of award, is the sound effects. Like, This show has the most insane and random funny sound effects. Now, the show did end up getting nominated for 6 awards, if I'm not mistaken, and it won 4. The only thing is that's unfortunate is that collecting the series at the time, and even still to this date, is kind of a chore. You see, around probably like the mid 2000s, the only thing that was actually released in the States was actually season 1 of Eddn Eddy and season 2, aside from a volume 1 and volume 2 DVD. Now, the rest of the show was actually released, but it was a Thailand exclusive, which was rather odd considering that it also had English audio. You can actually find these in eBay, probably still. I remember I always had them on my list to like buy them, but at the time I was a little scared to get them. I just didn't know if I was gonna get scammed or if they wouldn't work on like American like DVD players. So I just never ended up doing it. But hold on there. It wasn't until October 18th of 2002 that they actually released the complete series on DVD. The reason why I went like this is because it's not really the complete series. It's false advertising. It includes all the episodes, but it's missing the 4 specials, which is Jingle Jangle, Hanky Panky, Hullabaloo, Boo Ha Ha, and the Eds Are Coming, which is an alien invading episode. These were never included in the set. And the finale of the series, The Big Picture Show, which is the full-length movie, is not included either. The only way to actually watch these in like good quality and like the full length, from what I've seen, it's on Amazon Prime, and you can possibly try to buy them on iTunes. I know I have season 1 on iTunes bought before HBO Max like was even a thing and they put the Eddn Eddy show in there, but it didn't include the specials. So you can buy, I believe, the Big Picture Show there, but just not the specials. So it's all weird. I'm guessing it's licensing issues and all this stuff, but it's kind of a shame because it's such a good show. I'm like going way too into it. I love Eddn Eddy, guys. It's so good. Although, you know, it's kind of fitting. It almost feels like a scam. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into the game right now. Now, with the high success of the show, we actually ended up getting 3 video games of Eddn Eddy. One of them that came out in 2002 was Eddn Eddy Jawbreakers. That was on the Game Boy Advance. The other one that came out in 2007 was called Eddn Eddy The Scam of the Century. That came out on the Nintendo DS. I actually never ended up playing those, but the one that actually came out for home releases was this one, Eddy The Mis-Edventures, which was released on October 31st of 2005. So I ended up actually getting this game from Santa Claus for the original Xbox. The only thing is we're going to be looking at the PS2 version because at the time, my Xbox throughout the years actually broke. So I couldn't play this game on the 360 and I didn't have a computer or anything like that. So I ended up getting a PS2 version because I had the PS2. So we're going to be talking about that one. Now, they are the same game, but there are some slight differences in there, but we'll get into that later. So what is Eddn Eddy and the Mis-Edventures? Well, it's a 3D platformer that has you control all 3 Ed boys in various levels, collecting items and solving puzzles to reach the end of the goal. The game is actually structured with a hub world that is actually the cul-de-sac. Adding that, the game is broken into 6 levels, or scams as they call it, which is more fitting, and it's pretty cool. The story basically in the game just has you collect cash and solve little puzzles for you to end up going to the candy store and buy Jawbreakers. Yeah, pretty basic plot, but that's what Eddn Eddy was always almost about, is just them getting the Jawbreakers. But before we get any further, let's actually jump to the game case. Alrighty then, and here's the game case. I love how this looks. It is colorful, everything pops. You get the characters like Eddie, Ed, Double D, Santa Jawbreakers, Eddie with the Among Us Stink Bomb, the quarters, the title. It looks so good, man. I love this. One of my favorite covers of all time. Flipping into the spine, it says Eddn Eddy The Mis-Edventures, and going to the back, looks really nice, all colorful, just how a game case should look like. Join Eddn Eddy on their Mis-Edventures. In this tag team adventure game, switch between the Eds on the fly and take advantage of their own unique abilities. You'll encounter all of your favorite characters from the show as you make your way through the cul-de-sac, scamming your neighborhood kids. Collect Jawbreakers and coins to collect bonus content. Got abilities like the Trample Ed, which we'll get to later, the Tower of Eddie to stay out of sight, and the Batter Ed to break through obstacles. Again, we'll dive into this more a little bit later. Opening the game case right now, and we're working with an awesome disc art. By the way, the PlayStation 2 version is all colored in blue, which I love, but here's the difference between the Xbox version. They all look great, but check this out. The Xbox one is green, and obviously the artwork is very different. It looks like they're in the kitchen compared to them outside. It looks great. I don't know, which one do you guys like? I tend to like the Xbox one a little bit more, but that's just me. But both look great. I mean, it's just preferences at this point. And let's move on to the manual. I Love this manual. This is what a manual should be. And I mentioned that in my Pac-Man video, but this is also how a manual should be also. Here we have the table of contents in gorgeous color. The bio right there, you see the Eds. It breaks down the menu system. You got Eddy, Ed, Double D, how to use your abilities, in-game HUDs, collectibles, and tips and tricks on how to beat the game. But anyways, that will do it for the game case. So how's the gameplay? Well, the game has you control each Ed individually while the other two follow you around. Each Ed actually has a unique set of abilities that caters to each of their personalities. And this is what I'm talking about. There is so much attention to detail in this game, and it's not the greatest game. It doesn't have like the highest budget or anything, but there's so much in there, like so much care to the actual show, that it just makes it worthwhile. So let's start with Eddy. For his standard attack, he actually launches a quarter tied to a string towards the enemy. His other ability is a fan favorite in the show, that being
Gentlemen, the El Mongo Stink Bomb.
Using the stink bomb actually stuns the enemies around you. Now here's the other interesting part about each character. There's something called like a formation, and depending on the character that you pick and you hit the, I guess the right bumper or right? Left bumper, my left. It activates a certain ability that particular Ed can do with the rest of the Ed boys. So for Eddy, he has a Tower of Ed, which stacks each Ed on top of each other that can be used to grab onto items that are in areas that they can't reach, or go onto stealth section, hiding behind poles and like other areas. For Ed, his standard attack is him slamming his head on the ground.
I'm a woodpecker. Except with dirt.
His secondary is actually picking up objects and throwing them, which makes sense because out of the three, Ed is the strongest. Now his formation is called Batter Ed, and it's used to run through sections or through enemies as fast as possible, while the other Eds are holding on to him to dear life. Lastly, we have Double D, which his standard attack is actually whacking enemies with a ruler. His secondary is a slingshot with a water balloon that can knock objects down. Now his formation is called the Trample Ed, which the other Eds start bouncing Double D up in the air so he can reach higher places. Also, one of the things that Double D can do is actually activate switches because he is a smart one. In terms of like the controls, it doesn't feel too bad. I will say that it is a little unresponsive, or ask you to like double tap like to stop like an actual like formation. So if you use the Tower of Eddy or the Batter Me Ed and you click like the bumper, you have to like click it a few times so the game can like read that. So that's one thing. It's not perfect. So I did mention earlier that the game is actually broken down into 6 levels, or again 6 scams. You do actually have 2 bonus levels, and these 2 bonus levels are so worth it. The first one is when Ed actually turns into Edzilla. Do you guys remember that, when he puts on the costume and he just like attacks all the kids and Eddy? The episode was actually called The Day the Ed Stood Still, and that episode was so damn funny, dude. Like, oh my god, it's just Ed just puts on the stupid mask. You know, I actually had to watch this clip. Hold on. I'm gonna watch this clip for a second. Give me a sec. So it actually aired in season 3 and it's episode 11. Alright, I'm gonna watch it.
You should have been born a monster. Man, what's he doing? Making a mirror? What's with you? I am a monster!
Yo,
I'm back.
I was actually watching it. Look, like, this shit cracks me up so bad. Like, Ed is such an idiot, dude. Like, he gets so into the part, and just, you know how, you know when you go to like a friend's house, like it's so awkward, and you're just standing there because you like a mutual friend and you just don't know what to say because your other friend's not there, and you're just sitting there, and Eddy just makes the same stupid face, like he's like, man, he's taking so long. I don't know. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, but that shit's so funny, man. So funny. God. Whew. Oh, I gotta calm down for a second. Look, maybe there's something wrong with me, but this junk is so funny, man. Cool thing is that this actually changes the dynamic a little bit of the game, somewhat, not too crazy, but the whole level is like formatted into like one of Ed's movies that he would watch. It's in black and white, and you're dressed as Edzilla, and your goal is to destroy all the buildings around you, right? You see sometimes like a Statue of Liberty, but it's Johnny holding like plank up. You're getting attacked by tanks, and once you reach the end of the level, you fight a 3-headed canker sister monster battle, which is almost similar to the movie Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, which is freaking awesome. I love that movie. Godzilla is amazing. Godzilla is king of the monsters. Woo! I just get emotional. I just get like so hyped up talking about this. It's so cool! The second mission actually comes after you complete the game, and that one takes things even further. It's basically the episode Robot Rebel Ranch, which is when the Eds are like in the junkyard and they're like bored out of the mind. They don't know what to do. They're like on that van that's like has the water bed, and there's like cockroaches everywhere, and they just end up thinking, well, hold on, we're like in a planet, like we're in Mars or something like that he said, and they're just fighting robots. So it basically makes the entire world like sci-fi movie. The enemies turn into like giant robots, so you have them like shooting lasers at you, projectiles, all this crazy stuff. The awesome part about that is now you're wearing like the whole robot like Rebel Ranch gear. Your weapons actually change. So in that mission, you actually only play as two of the Eds because Ed gets kidnapped, so it's up to Double D and Eddy to rescue him. Eddy's stink bomb changes to an EMP bomb. They work similar. Ed doesn't really get anything different. Double D, I feel like, shines in this level. His ruler actually becomes a lightsaber or a laser sword, whatever you want to call it. His secondary, this is the best part, instead of the slingshot balloon, it actually becomes like an actual ray gun, so you can aim on it, you can freely shoot at it. It's not that different, but it's pretty cool that they actually did that. And so once you rescue Ed, you reach the end and you fight this giant robot boss. Like I mentioned earlier, the hub world in the game is the full cul-de-sac. It's basically ripped out of the show. The world just feels very authentic and unique with its whimsical outline design. Now when it comes to the 3D models in the game, I feel like this is as close as they can get it because the art style in the show is already pretty weird. So imagine translating that into 3D. It's pretty difficult. Like Eddy with the 3 strands of hair, like they had to put it like it looks a little weird, but I mean you kind of grow into it and you just take it. There's my cat if you just heard her meow. Now, I do really like that each scam that you do, the loading screen is basically like a title card from the show, and that's what it feels like. Every mission is almost like an episode. One of my favorite sections of the game is that they actually made the haunted house in that episode where Eddy and Double D and Ed get stuck in the house because they were dared like to go there.
Let me poke your brain.
Now they do some references in here. For example, that mission that you're in the haunted house again, which you can explore, and it's awesome. I love it. It's also, I feel like, the shortest mission. Now that mission is actually called A Nightmare on Ed Street, which is a direct reference to Wes Craven's classic horror, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Please, God. This is God.
Gosh, I love that movie. Now, all the voice actors in the show do return. The only thing is that Naz, I don't even think she has any voice lines. You see her like a little bit in the game. I don't think she even says anything. Now, I've said that the presentation of this game is really good, but there is one thing that's always bothered me, and I don't know why they decided to do it this way, but we all know that the show has very fluid animation. The cutscenes in these games, they sometimes go from the actual 3D models, which I feel like that's what they should have done, but then they try to replicate some scenes with like 2D animation, but it's not really that great. It almost looks like flash animation, and they just look really stiff and like lifeless. And honestly, I feel like it takes away more from like the actual cutscene than when an actual 3D model is being in place. I just never liked that. Let's get into the collectibles of the game. Now we've seen Eddn Eddy, and the biggest thing that the show is known for is the Jawbreakers.
The Jawbreakers! Yummy, yum, yum! Give me that!
By the way, this is a giant Jawbreaker. Look at that. Like, it's impossible. It's heavy too. Like, you can actually like
Kill somebody with it.
It has all the colors in there. Pretty awesome. There are a total of 40 Jawbreakers in the game, with some spread out in different locations depending on the level or scam as they're called. You can also go to the playground and go to the Jawbreaker dispensary, which you can buy with the coins that you collect throughout the game. What I really like about this is when you're looking at the Jawbreakers, there's like a massive list, and each list brings like a quote from the show and like different flavors, like what they are. It reminds me of the episode Once Upon an Ed, which is the episode where they get stuck in Johnny's wall and all 3 Eds are like telling their version of the story and why they're trapped in Johnny's wall. In Eddy's dream, he's like rich and he has his own vault of Jawbreakers. He's going down the list and they're very similar to like what they're in the game.
Japan flavor? Come to Papa! Ed, don't touch, you're an employee!
Aside from that, you have sandboxes that Ed can use to dig so he can get coins or costume pieces. There are also these items called the blue cool particles, and it's basically your HP. Once you get damaged or you like finish off like an enemy, those little blue orbs pop and you can just take them and it just increases your HP. But that's what they're called in the game. Lastly, we have chickens.
Chicken!
When you see a chicken in the game, you switch to Ed and use the formation Batter Me Ed to go and chase the chicken down before the timer runs out. Once you get the chicken, you actually like throw it in the air and apparently a magical colorful egg pops up. Once you collect those eggs, it unlocks like secret like weird goofy cheat codes like big head mode, little head mode, making you run pretty fast, unlocking behind the scenes of like the voice actors, and my favorite, my best friend Plank. Do you guys remember that video? I loved it. Like, by the way, this is Plank, like actual a plank of wood, but there's Plank. Do not be deceived by his eyes. To actually watch those, you have to go to the booths that are in like the cul-de-sac. I believe there's like 2 or 3 of them. The only thing sad about that is that they didn't include the music video, The Incredible Shrinking Day.
I'm not coming in anymore.
Eddn Eddy in general has a special place in my heart. I've always loved it. It's just a show that just brings people together. It's just funny how other people talk about the jokes, like the 3 shoe beating that Rolf does, and the video game, you get some of that too. So if you love the show, you're gonna love this game. It's not that long. I mean, I feel like to complete the game fully 100%, it took me around like 5 hours. If you didn't want to do that, like collect the jawbreakers or the Easter eggs or the chicken eggs, more like they're called, I think it takes you like probably like an hour less. Well, and that will do it for this retrospective of Eddn Eddy The Mis-Edventures. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below. What's your favorite Eddn Eddy episode? Did you play the game? Comment below and let me know. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time, okay?
Best friend Plank, my best friend.